Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome here as we get set to continue on our chase towards the chase for the Hersheys Cup Series Championship. Hersheys Cup Series non-charter series as well as the Pete Series taking an off week this week as we are continuing to try to catch up, if you will, here on the Hersheys Cup Series chartered series schedule as we prepare for our 23rd race of the season. 4 more races left for drivers to have an opportunity to get themselves into this season's 16-car chase for the championship. On point here today is going to be Brandon Gonzales, the number 23 Mitsubishi Lancer. Now, he was actually in the chase for the championship back in Season 2, but he hasn't been to victory lane since then. So we're going to have to see what Brandon's going to be able to do here today, starting on pole, alongside of Anthony McCrury, who comes into this race third in the points, Daytona 500 winner. And right now, he's theoretically locked into the chase for the championship. There's a number of drivers already that are kind of locked into the chase regardless of what happens here for the remainder of the season. We'll get to those drivers in just a moment. But we are here today for our 23rd race of the season. I put a poll out on Facebook. You guys, an overwhelming number of you said you wanted to go to Pikes Peak 2016, and that's where we're at today. Pikes Peak makes its debut onto the NNSCRA Hersheys Cup Series schedule. 38 laps on tap here today. Sure to be a wild one. We have no idea what's going to happen. We're all going to find out at the same time. Let's go down trackside and fire them engines up.
Drivers, start your engines!
Everybody's excited, even the guy that's given the command to fire them up today here at the Pikes Peak Raceway. As we are going to mention now the drivers coming into this race, you'll look down at the bottom right of your screen, you'll see the chase points coming into this race. But right now, Dylan Poteet, J McCloud, they are locked in, regardless of what happens in the next 4 races. They're locked into the chase for the championship now, as are J Arndt, Anthony McCrury, Trent Dunham, Cody Llamas, Jessica Shelton, Charles Sandfer, and J Baskinger. They are all locked in because they're in the top 15 in the point stands. It is mathematically impossible for them even to finish DNFs for the next 4 races to fall outside the top 30 in the points. So those drivers, Poteet, McCloud, Arndt, McCrury, Dunham, Llamas, Shelton, Baskinger, and Sandfer, they are all currently locked into the chase for the championship. We still don't know about the other drivers, and you also may have just noticed as well that because of Dylan Poteet going to victory lane for a 3rd time last week at Daytona, that 16th spot in the chase for the championship right now still is held by a driver that is in the points, and that is Levi McIntire's. The green flag is out, and we are underway here at Pikes Peak. Gonzales going to get out to an early lead. Someone's in the wall back there. That looks like Tim Walsh, and we have a wreck. Brooke Allen is around. Tim Walsh is around. Caution's out on the very first lap. They'll race it back. Brandon Gonzales will lead us to our first caution. Well, I said we didn't know what to expect. Apparently these drivers didn't either. This is their first taste of Pikes Peak Raceway on a Hersheys Cup Series circuit. And as the yellow waves, Brandon Gonzales will lead us under pacing. That did not take long. And there you see the skid marks there. First car I saw get out of shape looked like Tim Walsh. Brooke Allen collected as well, and it just seemed to block up the track. So, that is our first yellow of the day, and maybe it was due to the fact that these drivers were starting double file and had to get themselves in single file for the restarts for us to go into green flag runs. I don't know. Whatever the case, looks like the leaders will not be coming to pit road, so we will step aside and quickly take a look at a replay of what put us under the caution for the first time here today at Pikes Peak. Well, the incident happened on the back straightaway out of 2, but it actually started right here in the middle of 1 and 2. Right there, slight bit of contact between K Mathews and Brooke Allen sends Matthew up into Tim Walch, and then they're going to go up into the wall. And there you see Brooke Allen, just kind of an innocent victim, gets hooked in the right rear. Now watch this, everybody here on the high side, the middle line, nowhere to go. They're all trying to get through, and Benjamin Miles gets turned around. Zachary Fitzwater gets squeezed into the wall, as does Keith Batson. Joshua Michaels gets a piece of this as well. Sandfer a little buckle on his hood, and there Cole Baker gets a piece of it too in the 18. I think we're rather lucky we got away with what we did. That could have been a lot worse. A lot of drivers trying to get on the brakes, just not able to slow down quickly enough, not enough reaction time, and that's what put us under the caution for the first time here today. Let's see if now, maybe going into a single file restart, if we may be able to get some green flag laps in. But the first caution of the day comes out on the first lap of the day here at Pikes Peak. Still waiting on the Dodge Charger pace car to have its lights go out to indicate 1 lap to green. More than likely we'll get that 1 to go signal when we come back around this time to the start-finish line. So Brandon Gonzales was able to get out pretty far ahead of Anthony McCrury for the race lead. We'll have to see if he can get himself an equally good restart this time. McCrury restarting in second. Leon Alvarise there in third. I mean, Alvarise, talk about a guy that's really trying to find victory lane desperately. He comes into this race 33rd in the point standings. He is a total of 48 points out of the 30th position in the standings. He needs to be in the top 30 to have his win earlier on this season count towards a spot in the chase for the championship. He's going to restart third. Garrett Sydnor, he could lock up a chase spot if he picks up his second win of the season. He was just on the borderline of drivers that were locked into the chases. He is 17th in the points coming into this race. It is still mathematically possible for him to fall outside the top 30, but like I said, a second win would certainly help him. Trent Dunham, he's locked in, and he would obviously like a second win this season. Jessica Shelton also locked in, looking for her second win. Matt Haas, he is another driver that is eligible to fall outside of the top 30 points. So he's not locked in yet, even though he's got a win at Talladega. Second win this season would certainly help him. Then you got drivers like Levi McIntyre, Chris Dodd, as well as K Tellier, all looking for win number 1 this year to get into the chase for the championship. They restart 8th, 9th, and 10th. Nobody out of the race after that incident that just took place in the first lap. So all 35 cars, I should say, will come down and get the green flag for the restart. And if you haven't been tripped out yet by the wheel covers on that 23, I don't know what you're looking at. Making me go cross-eyed. Battle's on for second. Leon Alvarise to the inside on Anthony McCrury. And he will clear off of 4, maybe. Yes, I think he did. Well, I don't know. McCrury battling back on the high side there. Looks like McCurry's going to give up the second spot, though. So Alvarise moves into second. McCrury drops back into third. Trent Dunham now moves to 4th place, trying to reel in McCrury. And here's a battle now for a spot in the top 5. A couple former winners, Garrett Sydnor and Matt Haas. Haas will have the inside advantage, and he will clear Garrett Sydnor for that 5th position coming off turn 4. They're battling really hard back here. Dylan Young, K Tellier, Chris Dodd in this group. All drivers trying to find victory lane for the first time this season. Dylan Young's now moved up to 7th. K Tellier moving into 8th, as both have made their way around Chris Dodd's number 88 Chevrolet. Here's a battle between McCrury and Dunham. This is for 3rd place. As Alvarise begins to reel in Brandon Gonzales for the race lead, we'll have to jump up to that battle momentarily. A 2/10 separation between those two. These two drivers won the first 2 races of the season. McCrury at Daytona, Dunham at Rio de Janeiro. And both would love to be able to pick up a second win. I mean, these drivers now, like McCrury, like Dunham, they're just trying to find victory lane as many times as possible before the season's over, the regular season, because Dylan Poteet with 3 wins, James McCloud with 2 wins. They're obviously going to take the 1st and 2nd seeds in the chase for the championship when the grid is put together. As Leon Alvarise, he got to Brandon Gonzales. He will pass him, and a very quick pass. Alvarise to the point. And Alvarise trying to pick up CJ Racing's 3rd win of the season, 2nd of his season here in season 4, and as mentioned, trying to get himself that 2nd win so he can jump back into the top 30 in points and have himself back in the conversation as far as a chase for the championship competitor. Gonzales falls back to 2nd. Dunham has gotten by McCrury into 3rd place, and now McCurry's going to have more issues as here comes Matt Haas to the inside. That is for the 4th position. Dylan Young right there as well. So this is 4th, 5th, and 6th, the battling going on here, with Z Flickinger now up into the mix as well in the 74. Dylan Young drives to the inside there on Matt Haas, so that'll actually be a battle for 5th. Flickinger right there in line, and Flickinger will fill the gap made by Dylan Young. Dylan Young wants more. He got by Matt Haas for 5th. Now he wants 4th off of McCrury. So a Ford battle for the 4th position may be heating up here. They're kind of wadded up from about the 4th position on back. Trent Dunham with pretty smooth sailing up ahead of him. And then it's about 4/10 separation now. Leon Alvarise has gained over Brandon Gonzales. Dylan Young moves to 4th. Flickinger moves to 5th. Another driver that's working his way up is J Arndt. It seems like we say that every week now. J Arndt starts outside the top 10, and then within the first half of the race, he peaks up into the top 10. And he is up in that 10th position, just barely running behind his teammate, G Sydnor, in the 38. J Arndt comes into this race as the points leader, 17 points in hand over D Poteet. Poteet has 3 wins this season. Arndt only has 1. That tells you just how consistent a season it's been for the Zaxby Chevrolet. Speaking of D Poteet, there's his teammate, J McCloud, who's been on a bit of a skid as of late. McCloud was actually up inside the top 5 in the standings for a good portion of the first half of the season, going to victory lane twice. He's now down to 7th in points. Now, as I stated, he's already locked into the chase with his 2 wins, but obviously would love to be able to get back to consistency, because a lot of drivers will tell you, as far as drivers that make the chase for the championship, that a key factor is momentum heading into the chase. You want to be heading into the chase with a good run of finishes, a good string of finishes in your last couple of races, because that momentum will help you once the chase begins. And we had a battle going on here for the lead momentarily between L Alvarise and Brandon Gonzales, but that has now gone away. They just were getting around the now lap machine of Joshua Michaels, who is a little bit off the pace, I guess, after he got involved in our first wreck of the day. And now, as he's going to be battling here with Brandon Gonzales, that's going to allow Flickinger to close in and Alvarise to pull away. But, well, Gonzales tried to throw the block there, can't do it. And that's going to give Flickinger the inside advantage. He will now move to 2nd place. Flickinger, 1 win in his career in the Hersheys Cup Series, that coming back, I think it was season 2 at Yas Marina Circuit. I can look that up just for clarification or confirmation, as Dylan Young now moves to 3rd. So now there is a lap machine between L Alvarise and Zach Flickinger for the race lead. I believe Michaels is still running in the 42nd. No, he's running in, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting there aren't 42 cars, only 35. He's actually 2 laps down in 34th. Kyle Mathews 2 laps down in 35th. So I don't know if those 2 were on pit road. I think they might have been. Mathews, of course, was involved in the first incident today as well. So maybe they came to pit road to repair damage under green flag conditions and have lost 2 laps as a result. And look at this, Joshua Michaels. Yeah, I have a feeling Michaels came to pit road under green, because I think he's got fresher rubber than Alvarise, and he's using it to his benefit. The only problem for Alvarise, though, is here comes Flickinger. Oh my goodness, they almost went 3 wide. Michaels nearly hooked the Aaron's Dream Machine in the race lead. Halfway through this race, and now things are starting to heat up here for the top position. Alvarise trying to hold off Zach Flickinger, who's now having to deal with Joshua Michaels. But Alvarise has not been able to really pull away and take that race lead completely. As I'm looking here, and yes, indeed, it was Season 2 Yas Marina Circuit that Zach Flickinger went to victory lane. Flickinger now on the bottom of the racetrack on Joshua Michaels. We'll see if maybe being on the inside line will give him a good enough run here into 3 to maybe get a run out of 4 on Alvarise. No, I think a big problem there, especially with this type of track. Now, obviously, we haven't been here before, so I don't have a case study to go off of, but I would assume that being on that inside line, you have to lift a lot more to avoid getting tight and getting into the driver above you coming out of the corner. And I think that's what Flickinger is experiencing right now, and why Michaels has been able to keep so strong on that outside line, kind of keep alongside Flickinger. Also throw into the fact as well that we've already established Joshua Michaels would have much fresher tires, and that gives him better exit speed. There is Kyle Mathews heading into turn 1. A few seconds ahead of the race leader, L Alvarise. And Mathews 2 laps down, apparently still up to speed though. And it looks like pit stops. L Alvarise coming to pit road. Flickinger is in. Dylan Young is in. Is anyone going to risk it, stay out, and get some bonus points? Well, it's going to be Brandon Gonzales. He's already been out in front today after starting on the pole, so he'll lead another lap, but it's not going to be an extra bonus point for him since he's already previously led a lap here today. Johnny Gardner, I believe, also stayed out. Yes, he did. And I think those might have been the only 2. Nope, Baskinger also stayed out in the 5 car. And so did Caitlin Tsang. There's Alvarise on pit road. Baskinger's in. Wow, Baskinger cut right in front of Trent Dunham, who was merging back onto the track. That was a close call. So Gonzales is in. Gardner is in. Baskinger, and here comes K Tsang. Looking for the 08 of Alvarise. There he is. And I think he's going to come out with the race lead, at least ahead of Flickinger and Dylan Young. Charles Sandfer, I think, is on the tail end of the lead lap, in danger of going a lap down right now. He had some damage from the only wreck we had today back on lap number 1. Alvarise crossing the line in 4th place, trying to catch up to, well, I think he's actually bypassed Gonzales, Baskinger, and Tsang on pit road. And there you see Gonzales coming out, and Gonzales did not have the best of pit stops. He's going to come out somewhere around, looks like the 4th position, maybe 5th, if Matt Haas is able to make the move. So hitting the line here on lap 25, completing lap 24, that gives us a total of 15 laps left to go. Sorry, 14 laps left to go, my apologies. Alvarise has over a 2-second lead on Zach Flickinger. Dylan Young now is in 3rd. Matt Haas did take 4th place away from Gonzales, who's about to lose 5th to K Tellier. So drop Gonzales back to 6th. 7th place Trent Dunham. 8th is J Arndt. Anthony McCrury there in 9th. And right now battle on for 10th between James McCloud and the 38 of G Sydnor. Last thing that Leon Alvarise wants to see is a yellow flag, as he actually gained some more ground on the 74 of Flickinger that last lap. Battle on for 3rd. Matt Haas reeling in Dylan Young. And this may be the best battle on the track right now. And if these two battle, that might bring K Tellier into the picture. Haas going to drive it deep into 1. Can he make the pass, though, is the question. Not clear yet off of 2. Still not clear. And Dylan Young's going to battle back on the high side. And there you see, here comes that Lincoln of K Tellier, now going to make it a 3-man, well, man and woman fight, I should say, for that 3rd spot. Matt Haas will complete the pass now. 2.42 seconds the gap last time by. It's now grown by a 10th. Leon Alvarise over Zach Flickinger. Alvarise trying to make it into the chase for the championship with 2 wins. Now, obviously, Alvarise would certainly have a lot of work still to do in the remaining 3 races of the season, of the regular season, due to the fact that this win, not exactly certain, if he gets the win, I should say, not exactly certain just how far ahead of 30th in the points he's going to be. So Alvarise needs to make sure that if he does get into the top 30 in the points, if he wins today, he's got to keep himself ahead of that 30th position cutoff line, because he's run a good portion of races past couple of weeks with 1 win, but that win has not counted towards a spot in the chase for the championship. So he's got to be careful if he is able to close the deal here today. And right now he is continuing to grow that gap. It grows by about a 10th each lap. It's now up to 2.8 seconds. And Flickinger may have other things to deal with. Matt Haas coming up pretty quickly through the field in the closing stages here. Got around Dylan Young for 3rd place, and now looks to get the runner-up spot from Flickinger. So that Toyota Camry apparently set up for the long run. He will get to the left rear, so the battle is on for 2nd. That will continue to open the gap between this battle for 2nd and the race leader, Leon Alvarise, who now almost has a 3-second advantage. K Tellier right there again, trying to move into another battle, but not going to get there quickly enough, as now Matt Haas completes the pass on Flickinger. Now Matt Haas, he's got a fast race car, obviously. He's been able to work his way up to the 2nd position, but I think he is running out of oh, wait a minute. He actually just cut down into Leon Alvarise's lead right there. While making a pass, he cut it down by about 3/10. But he doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of time, though. Next time by, it's 6 laps to go. Can he cut down 2.5 seconds of time in 6 laps? I doubt it, but we never know. 6 to go. Let's see if the gap closed this time between the 08 and the 78, only by 4/100ths. Gonna have to do a lot more than that if you're gonna reel in the Aaron's Dream Machine with only a total of 6 laps to go. Now 5.5 as Alvarise hits the back straightaway. And right now, I'll tell you one driver that has got to be smiling from ear to ear. A couple of drivers. Levi McIntyre, Zachary Fitzwater, Joshua Michaels, drivers that were coming in battling for that final spot in the chase to get in via points. They need repeat winners for the next upcoming races if they're not going to get to victory lane themselves. Dylan Poteet went to victory lane as a repeat winner last week at Daytona. Right now it's looking like Alvarise will go to victory as a repeat winner here at Pikes Peak, which means that that 16th spot in the chase for the championship could potentially still be open for a driver to get in via points. The only thing that I would say against that potentially is the fact Leon Alvarise with this win may jump up into the top 30 in the points, and that would then fill in the 16th spot. So while this could be a blessing in disguise, this could also be a bit of a nightmare for those drivers that right now are eligible to make it in on points with that final 16th spot not filled in by a race winner this season. How about Leon Alvarise, though? What a time to step up. We've seen a lot of drivers last couple of weeks really step it up. Benjamin Miles stepped it up after Watkins Glen. Johnny Gardner stepped it up after Rockingham, North Carolina. Even over in the Pizza Hut X Series, we've seen drivers like James Qualls step it up to get himself into the championship picture. Well, Alvarise appears to be doing the same thing. CJ Racing already has one championship here in the Hersheys Cup Series, that coming back in Season 2 with Chris Dodd. Leon Alvarise trying to make it 2 championships in 4 seasons, and the first step is to get into the chase for the championship. Matt Haas continuing to close the gap, but he hasn't even closed it down to 2 seconds. So I don't think there's a chance here with 1.5 laps remaining for him to reel in Leon Alvarise unless something mechanically goes wrong on that Aaron's Dream Machine. Coming out of turn number 4, Leon Alvarise will see a sight he hasn't seen for quite a while this season. The white flag with him out in front. Looking to join James McCloud and Dylan Poteet as a multi-time winner this season in the Hersheys Cup Series. He only had 1 win previously from this season. That was at Freeway back, I think it was in Season 2. And he will have his first career multi-win season as he will take the checkered flag out of turn 4. The Aaron's Dream Machine goes to victory lane for the 2nd time this year in the Hersheys Cup Series. Career win number 3 for Leon Alvarise, and that trip to victory lane, provided he can keep himself in the top 30 in the points now, would have just locked himself up a spot in the chase for the Hersheys Cup Series Championship here in Season 4. Great run there for Leon Alvarise. Well-needed run, no doubt about that. So Leon Alvarise will bring it home with the win. He has won now at Atlanta and Pikes Peak here in Season 4. Matt Haas finishing 2nd. K Tellier in 3rd with Flickinger and pole sitter Brandon Gonzales bringing it home in the top 5. Standings should be official now. Only 1 caution today. That happening back on lap 1, and we went green flag the rest of the way with green flag pit stops in the middle. Anthony McCurry will finish in 6th, Dylan Young 7th, Garrett Sydnor in 8th. Gotta wonder if maybe now that top 10 finish for Sydnor is going to move him up enough in the standings where he'll be locked into the chase now. Chris Dodd brings it home in 9th, with J Arndt completing the top 10. J McCloud in 11th, Dylan Poteet in 12th. We really didn't talk about that 31 car all day. He worked his way up to a solid run inside the top 15. Blaine Keys, Trent Dunham, and Cody Llamas. That was your top 15 here today. As we look on down through the remainder of the finishing results, everybody finished the race, but we had a number of drivers finish off the lead lap, and every single one of those drivers that finished off the lead lap had gotten damage from the first wreck, and you got to wonder if maybe during those green flag pit stops they had extended stays in their pit stalls to get that damage fixed. Joshua Michaels, Cole Baker, Brooke Allen, Tim Walsh, and Kyle Mathews all were involved and got damage from the incident back on lap number 1. But that is going to do it here today from Pikes Peak Raceway. Hope you guys enjoyed this race as it made its debut. Pretty good debut race here for Pikes Peak, and Leon Alvarise taking advantage with everybody on level playing field of experience at this track going to victory lane for the 2nd time here this season. Next week, it's going to be the Hersheys Cup Series Non-Charter Series and Pizza Hut X Series making their return, as we are going to be heading, I believe, to the short track of Salem. That track has always brought about very interesting racing. Can't wait to go back there and see what it's going to do here this season. We will see you guys for those races, though. That's the next weekend coming up. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's race, or today's race, I should say. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We've shown your full finish results. Up next is your rookie points, as well as your overall points heading into next week, as we have 3 races remaining till we know the 16 drivers that will battle it out for the Hershey Cup Series chase for the championship. We'll see you guys next time as you've been watching production of the SRA Offline Racing at its best.